So I wanted to talk about the trading partner assignment and some tips I think that will help you do a bit better. Firstly, pick a good country. If you're really interested, you'll be more motivated to do this and your work will, stand out a little more. You could go to the Government of Canada website and search for trade and investment agreements, and you can get a list of all the countries that Canada has an agreement with reduced tariffs or no tariffs and no other barriers. You could look at, say, the CIA World Fact Book and see what Canada is exporting and look for a market for those products. There's lots of different countries you could select, and I think if you're interested, you'll enjoy the project a little more. Make sure that you include the basic elements like the physical, geographic characteristics, the political characteristics, the social characteristics, and the economic characteristics, but focus on how those characteristics impact international trade. So, for example, for physical characteristics, Canada has, lots of natural resources. Maybe if we export some natural resources, some lumber, fish, metals, wheat, whatever it is, maybe if we export that to your trading partner, you will focus on sort of those physical characteristics that Canada has and this other country does not. You might want to talk politically. Are they have they been growing closer to lately? Are they growing further apart? When the government's changed, does it affect how Canada gets along with this country? Social characteristics. Usually countries first export to other countries with similar cultures, to see if it works there. And then if it does, they might try another more distant location. For example, that's why many Canadian companies first expand to the United States. Not only is it closer, but it has a very, very similar culture. So if an idea flies in Canada, it is likely to work well in the US. So, talk about some of those cultural similarities that might enable a product to succeed. And don't forget economic comparisons. Let's be sure we talk about the exchange rate, that we talk about, how much we export, what we export, how much we import, what we import, things like that. Are there any comparative advantages? That is something that Canada makes more efficiently than another country, or perhaps the other country has a comparative advantage, that makes it a good candidate to trade with Canada. If we can use that terminology, the idea of a comparative advantage, something that one country can specialize in because they have a lower opportunity cost and they're more productive. Lastly, can you make a little timeline of the relationship? When did it start? Was it like the Great Britain and Canada? It's a couple of centuries old. Was it something that happened in the last 50 years because of globalization, such as getting some of our consumer goods from Southeast Asia? And, what is the history of the relationship? I think that would be something that's good to know. What does it stand right now? Sometimes these relationships become closer over time, sometimes they become worse. And if you could analyze what you think might happen in the future, what do you think might happen in the next 5 or 10 years between Canada and the chosen country, and your profiling, that would help make it a level 4 project. Take some time to look at the news. Are there more talks? Are there more negotiations? Are they having differences? Try to extrapolate what you think could happen in the future. And I think that would allow you to show your thinking and inquiry skills and then really create a thoughtful and insightful project. Lastly, remember just nice, professional design, whether you do it in a slideshow or an essay, please make sure that it's well formatted and that there is an APA works cited list. I hope that this is an assignment that is informative and a little bit enjoyable and helps you see how Canada is impacted by international business.